My name is Ava Fiedler and I'm here with
Ava Nolin.
reporting for the Lobby Observer.
Today we are discussing the hiring process of coaches at WHS.
During this broadcast, we'll be catching up with two very influential people and learn some of the behind the scenes of the procedure.
Recently at WHS, we have been looking for coaches, specifically for girls basketball.
Lobby Observer Simon Bleier was given the chance to sit down with Westborough Athletic Director Johanna DiCarlo and ask her a few questions about the hiring coaches here at WHS.
On to you, Simon.
Simon Bleier reporting with the Lobby Observer, and I'm joined here by Johanna DiCarlo, Athletic Director of Westborough Public Schools. Thank you for joining us here today.
My pleasure. Nice to see you, Simon.
So, as you're well aware, there are a bunch of vacancies in winter sports coaching, specifically on the girls' side for basketball. So I kind of wanted just to start off and ask what qualities you look for in a coach.
Yeah, it's funny for, now going into my 16th year here, so a lot of seasons and a lot of coaches that we've hired. And I really do sort of have this philosophy of I can always teach somebody the X's and O's of games, but it's really hard to teach somebody to be a good person, to really want to work with kids, to have a passion for a sport. So I got to say that when I really am looking for a coach, I'm looking for someone that can display to me that they are an educator. That teaching and learning is certainly at the forefront of what they want to do with our kids, that they really enjoy being around kids, and that they have a passion for the sport. And then we feel like we can always surround our coaches with enough resources and enough support for them to be successful if they need a little bit of help with sort of the X's and O's of the sport. So I think finding a really good person is always my top priority.
Yeah, and I know throughout my sporting career so far here, I've really just noticed how good the people are, good the coaches are. They really care about, the student athletes, and they want what's best for them.
That's great to hear, because that is certainly something that we are trying to achieve, and we understand that athletics plays a role in everybody's lives, but it's not going to be, a whole bunch of kids going off to play professional sports. So we want coaches that understand that you guys are whole people, and to help grow those whole people, and using athletics as a way to do that.
Yep. And then, so the hiring process itself, I kind of want to talk about that. So when a position opens, what's kind of the first thing you do, and then what are the steps after that?
Yeah, so the first thing we do is always publicly post those positions, and those can be seen at www.mia.net. There's a vacancy posting there, and then the district posts everything online as well. There's an employment tab in the Westborough Public Schools website where we can post all of those positions. And so that's the first thing we do is post for them. Then start asking around and seeing if we have anybody in-house, certainly anybody that we know that may be interested in the position. So specifically right now for basketball, that position's been posted. We're accepting applications online, and then we'll sort of move to the next phase of the process. And the next phase of the process could be different depending upon the sport, depending upon how many candidates we have for it. There are times where we may only get one candidate, and so I may not pull together a full committee to work on that position. But a position like girls basketball right now, we do have a handful of candidates in the online portal. We're going to take a look at those resumes, and then from there, I'll probably pull together a few people to help me with that search. And so Mr. Callahan is always a part of the hiring process, and he always has final say on that. And specifically for basketball this time, we'll probably bring in Mr. Hansen, the assistant AD for the winter time, because I think it's important for him to want to work with this person and to have a hand in the hiring. Mr. Willer for girls basketball, seeing as the boys basketball and girls basketball coaches really do work quite closely, so we'll bring him in to do some interviewing and some questioning. And then the girls team, so some of the girls players, and where appropriate and where we have a good sort of leadership group, I do like to bring students in during that process at some point. So they'll be able to meet the candidates and certainly the finalists and find out if it's a good fit.
And so does that usually happen? You usually like to bring in students?
Again, I would say more often than not, we either have them as part of the interview process, or immediately after we decide that we're going to hire this person, we'll bring them in to make sure, again, it's a good fit before everything's, completely finalized. So somewhere along the process, we do like the students to be involved in it.
And then for girls basketball, so when do you think, or when do you really want to have a coach by?
That's such a good question. I don't have a date, so it's one of those situations where it's a delicate balance of wanting to find the right person and get them in here quickly, but not rushing the process so that maybe we don't miss somebody, that applies a little bit later. So we are firmly in the accepting applications and starting the conversations with people this week. And if a conversation that I have in mind goes really well this week, we could hire as early as next week. But it's just, again, that sort of balancing with trying to read through resumes and making sure that we've had it out there long enough. But if we have somebody we like in the applicant pool now, we want to scoop that person up so that nobody else does.
Well, thank you. This has been a great interview.
No problem. My
I really
pleasure.
appreciate this, kind of insight into stuff behind the scenes in our sporting world of
Anytime.
WHS.
Love talking to you guys.
Yeah.
So great questions.
I'm Simon Bleier, reporting from Lobby Observer.
Thanks, Simon, for that insightful interview.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that they're starting the process this week.
I agree, and I love how some of the girls athletes are included in the interviews.
And she talked about how they are kind of reorganizing the boys basketball teams.
Speaking of the boys teams, our very own Max Dullea was able to talk to boys basketball head coach Brian Willard to discuss the girls coach openings as well as the situation with Coach Brady and the staff on the boys side.
On to you, Max.
Thank you, Abby and Ava. This is Max Dullea reporting from the Lobby Observer here today with head coach men's basketball Brian Willer. So, Coach Willer, the girls basketball team, as you know, they have 3 positions opening for head coach. What is your role in not deciding but helping the girls basketball and picking their new coaches?
Well, first off, we do have 3 positions available. It's unfortunate that Coach Orlando, Coach Power, and her staff had to step down. But what we're looking for at this point is just someone that can kind of build off the energy that they had. They were a very good staff. However, for a certain reason they had to step down. So we're looking for someone that's very energetic, someone that's got an upbeat attitude. And someone that obviously knows the game of basketball, hopefully either played the game or coached it at some level. But reality is, if you like the game of basketball and you're interested, that's really what we're looking for. Someone that wants to just kind of blow us away by just with their passion for the game of basketball.
Okay. So another question is Coach Brady, as you know, JV coach for the last few years, arguably the greatest basketball player to come through this program that you coached years ago. What is his kind of new role as he's no longer going to be the JV coach?
So a couple things. So first off, Coach Brady was here a little bit before I came here.
Right.
But he is probably they say the second best athlete ever in this town. Arguably the first or second best basketball player.
Yeah. Baseball
But baseball, he's got all the records in baseball. So he's been a great addition to the staff he started off as my freshman coach. We elevated him to JVs, and then this year, unfortunately, he's not going to be able to stay into that role.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that he becomes the varsity assistant if he wants to. We're still in discussions for that. But if he was able to do that, basically it just frees him up more so that he doesn't have to be tied down to his own team every day, and he can come help at my practice, which is obviously would be great for our team because his knowledge of the game, his ability to teach the game, and then just his ability to show kids how to do it instead of just tell them. That's something that a lot of coaches can't do, and he can. So I'm really hoping that this year he decides to come stay with us in any capacity. It might be a volunteer role, but I want him to be the assistant if he can. But again, that's going to be up to him, and we're going to be having ongoing discussions probably the next week or so. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
So for the JV opening, are you looking at an outside hire, or is it more like someone in the program who already knows the players, knows the system?
Well, that's the thing. So we're hoping to stay in-house. Basically, I still have an assistant coach, in Coach Sim. And I have Coach Callanan as the freshman coach. I'd like to keep all of us within the program, but hopefully they can all understand we need to do it for the greater good of the program. And to keep Coach Brady around, we might have to relocate my other 2 coaches. Either Sim's going to become the freshman coach or the JV coach. But again, those are still ongoing discussions. The coaches are planning to meet to discuss that. But I'd like all 3 of them and myself to be in the program. But it has to fit everyone. They have to agree to it. They have to want to do it. Obviously, I think I have the ultimate say. Mr. Carlo, I think, will agree with what I think is best for the program. But I'm hoping it's a smooth transition, and I hope each coach says, okay, this sounds good for me. This is a good role for me, and we can go from there. Because I would like to keep the same staff intact if I could.
Okay. All right. Agreed.
Thanks, Max.
It really is crazy to think about all the coaching changes happening at WHS.
I know. I wonder how it will all work out.
Me too. And it's been a great privilege to learn about what's happening behind the scenes from 2 very influential people.
All we can do now is wait and see. I'm Abby.
And I'm Ava.
Signing off from the Lobby Observer.